So welcome to another Your Lurgan podcast. We're joined myself, Donagh McKeever.
And I'm Michael Scott. Hello.
Hello. We're
Good evening.
joined famously by the Clegs. Well, I don't know what you call them, but the little insects that are
Midges.
flying about, the midges. This is the country of the midges.
I've just noticed them there, just swarming all around our camera.
There's a famous a poem by the famous Seamus, as it were, Seamus Heaney, and he writes it about Ardbow, which is just
Down there somewhere, isn't it?
Literally just behind us here. And it talks about all the Clegs and the little insects. Maybe I'll read that out towards the end of the afternoon or the morning. Good morning to you. It's Sunday morning and the podcast begins. Michael, we've loads of stories to look at this week.
Yeah, it's been a really busy week for your Lurgan. Surprisingly, it's been one of the quietest weeks, but at the same time one of the busiest, because we haven't had a lot coming in from different people, but we've been out scouring for stories, trying to bring you some of the best that we can find, doing some proper journalism, if you like. Which is, you know what, actually, it's been fun, it's been interesting, and your Lurgan is really growing at the minute. I was just doing some maths this morning, and the first 6 months, how many page views did we have?
4?
More than that, 750,000 odd.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
And
three-quarters of a million.
750,000, which was, to be honest, maybe you're sitting here doing all this stuff, you don't really think about, how many people are clicking on your website. Well, you do, but not to that extent. So we're really pleased with how it's going. No, it's going really well. Like, and we're not just here to bring the news and sport. We're here to help promote local businesses. If you want to help grow your customer base, if you want to try and attract new business to your business, why not give us a call, because we're here to help. There's a helicopter flying over our heads.
I hope it's not one looking to save and rescue, because that's important this week. That was one of the big stories of the week, wasn't it?
It was actually not too far from here, just down the road at Kinnego Marina. We've been speaking to 11-year-old, let me just double check his name, Morgan Kelly. Morgan's 11, and he was one of 2 people. I should also give a name mention, by the way, to Jordan Kelly. They're no relation. Jordan's 25, and they were involved in a dramatic rescue here on Sunday evening, where they pulled 2 men out of the marina. I'm going to read you Jordan's quotes because they're quite good. Jordan's 11. We noticed that a man thought his boat was going to sink due to an oil leak. He didn't have a life jacket on properly and went up, and we thought he was going to go under. There was also a nearby paddleboarder who was in danger, and he couldn't swim either. So it was quite a dramatic night down here on Sunday. And Jordan and Morgan jumped in, came to the rescue. Jordan went into the water first, said Morgan. I swam about halfway in, and between us we were able to bring out the 2 men unharmed. So they were shocked, apparently, these 2 men. I'm not surprised. I'd be shocked too if that happened to me. I can't swim. We were talking about this on the way down. Maybe I should learn to swim.
Well, we could teach you. There are schools, the Loughney Dunkers, just going to my left-hand side here. They will come out every day and swim in the loch, and right through the winter as well. And they don't have to be good swimmers. They have the life belts around them, as it were, the buoyancy aids. So it could be a way of teaching you how to swim. But regardless, the loch itself, we're down at Oxford Island, and behind us is the vista of the loch. I don't know if you can see in our shot here, but we're looking towards St Gallen. St Gallen.
Is that what that is down there?
And that's in
I was just about to ask you what that
County
is.
Derry, London, down, as it were. A beautiful location, and obviously when you're up at the top of that, you can look back and see the whole loch. Here we can just see the side of it, but the loch has
Hopefully you can see it in the background here of our shot.
Hopefully, well, we might take a video that'll show you it and have a look at it that way. The loch itself has a mystery about it. It looks flat. It looks
like a monster.
Like a monster. Well, not quite the Loch Ness monster.
The Loch Ness monster.
Much more sinister. There is the mythology of the loch, and it's the origin of everything, because there was a volcano probably somewhere in the middle of that, and all of that's exploded and whatever. But regardless of that, the loch, it is said, claims a life a year at least.
Seriously?
Very seriously. Sadly, I had a friend many years ago, David Gray, who lost his life on the loch. Going out in the fine conditions, in squall, turning out of nowhere, and all of a sudden David's life was lost, and others have been lost over the years. Famous fishermen here, the Dorans, they lost a couple of members of their family through drowning, and they were regular fishermen. There's a famous incident that is recorded in gravestones in our Quaker graveyard at the top of the town in Lurgan, where 3 brothers of one family and 2 other cousins, they came to the loch. I think they were the Green family, I'm not sure exactly, and they lost their lives on a trip to Coney Island for a picnic, and as they were coming back, the squall emerged, and virtually all of them except one, I think, survived. Brutal. So there's a history of that. So it's not to be messed about with, and that was in a simple, quiet location like Kinnego, as you say, a quiet bay. But fair play to the lads. Fair play. There's recognition to be offered.
Oh, definitely, and well done to them for being so brave. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I know my limitations. I can't swim, but fair play to them for being so brave. I mean, well, I was going to say once the good weather comes in, it's here already, but we're going to send my wee man to swimming lessons because it's important. It's a safety skill more than anything else. So yeah, it's been really busy this time of year as well. You know, we've had some really good weather, which brings me on to our next topic. The good weather, because you were out in Largan Park.
I was sweltering if I'd walked too much. It was glorious. It wasn't the highest temperature of all time.
It wasn't as warm as it was across the water either.
Later in the day and in the week, actually, it certainly got up to that in some parts. But it was beautiful, very relaxing, and we met a couple of guys. In fact, one of them was Michael Doran, whose family had been part of that tragedy that we're talking about. Yeah, it was a beautiful day, a beautiful location. I love the avenue of the linden trees, the lime trees, absolutely glorious.
They would provide a great shade.
Yes, great shade, and that's what you were looking for, great shade. Lovely. Not too many problems, as you've been seeing and saying over in England, lots of fires. It's a bit scary.
Yeah.
I lived in California, as you know, for 4 or 5 years, and it wasn't a question of when the fires were going to start, it was just how often and how devastating they could be. So that must have been a devastation for the people of southeast England.
Yeah. Shall we take a look at some of your footage?
Why not?
I have my own bike as well, yeah.
What's your bike?
It's a Harley Davidson.
Wow. They're the real cowboy. Well, not the cowboys. The West.
The American style.
Yeah.
Chopper type bike.
Easy rider,
Easy
as it
rider,
were.
yeah.
Cool.
Some of the bikes said I don't use it enough, like, but.
What drew you to it, first of all?
Well, I'm talking about my Mickey here, and he sort of drew me to it. He's been at them a long time. He's been at them from he was a boy, you know. Yeah. I've always had bikes on and off over the years, like, but he said Harleys from he was a boy, and sort of he drew me to them, really.
Mickey thinks he still is a boy, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he's not a girl.
Well, whatever goes on in the company of your own house, it's up to yourself.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to the geese. Would you like to be interviewed, Mr. Goose? Quack, quack, hurry up, quack, quack. No, I don't think they do. So quite close to us today is the ice cream stall. Not always here, but you can catch it usually at the weekends. It's certainly here today, and I'm sure a few people enjoying that. I like to enjoy it myself, but diabetes just doesn't allow it. So what a pity, because we're a great town for ice cream. Here with the Cafolas, of course, over the years, and of course other providers as well. So this is Largan Park indeed. Plenty of places to go and do and see. Flower beds out. New Jubilee flower bed was, I suppose, what do you do with a bed? You kind of set it, don't you? This is not the one, but there are other flower beds out celebrating that elsewhere in the park. So here's the start of this fabulous avenue of trees. So here's this magnificent avenue, and Paul May, who often brings us walking tours of the park and talking about the trees, told us all about these. The linden tree from kind of a Germanic roots, and over there they're regarded as giving kind of a soporific feel, a feeling of goodness and wellness as you walk along them. So that was Largan Park at way back Monday last.
We'll move on to some sadder news now, and that was the news that emerged over the past week. The air crash up in Newton Ards, and course, there was a local connection to that. The
Philip Murdoch.
Philip Murdoch, yeah, who was the founder of.
I don't think I knew him. I know of the Murdoch family. They're based around Newry and Warren Point.
Yeah,
and I know that they have a business in Carn Industrial Estate, and he had a business too in
yeah, he was based down in Silverwood and Vision. They it's like CCTV and things like that there, and yeah, a very, very sad loss, very, very shocking loss as well, because it was such a glorious day then, such a tragic circumstance. He lost his life along with another passenger whose name was Caroline Mowini. Very, very sad, and the company has been responding to his tragic death. He founded the company, I think it was 11 or 12 years ago. I know he recently sold it to another company for or as part of a deal. They were a multinational company, name escapes me right now, but all the details are on your Lurgan about that. And like he was really, you know, on the crest of a wave and doing really, really well with his business, and just goes to show how quickly and how tragically life can end
and change.
Yeah,
much so.
Yeah, and of course our thoughts go out to his family and all his connections around this part of the world.
And I'm sure there are many people who knew Philip, and indeed the other lady too.
Yeah, absolutely. Those were probably some of the biggest news stories we had this week. We'll move on to sport, shall we? Because it's been a busy sporting week.
Yeah, a lot of activity in sport. We'll come to where I was on Friday later, but what are the big stories for you?
What about golf? Should we talk about the world of golf? Because that was a really good feature you did with
Roger McStravick.
Yeah.
Lovely fella. I'd never met him before, at least I'm not aware of. But he grew up most of his early life in Lurgan, in fact, probably till his 20s, maybe a little bit later, and then made his way into, I suppose, PR, among other things, and always appreciated the fact that he could write. He puts it down to having good tutelage, as it were, from the good folks in St Michael's in Lurgan, but also tutelage and friendship of the Largan Golf Club.
Oh yes,
really interesting story, two-parter. One talking about his work as a writer, and he was able to reflect on Rory McIlroy, probably has met him numerous times, and then able to reflect also on his life in Lurgan and playing golf there. Really interesting chap. But have a wee look at some of that story now. So you could always get the second writer that you mentioned there, Hannah, to write about Lurgan, because Lurgan is full of Hannahs. Peter's the professional there still, of course. Roy and some of the other brothers, they've been playing golf there for years. Do you ever play against Roy, young Roy? He's a bit older than you, mind you.
Do you know what? Roy, growing up, was such a hero of mine. He was so good. He had just the best short game. He had the worst fashion sense, you know, if you're listening, Roy.
No, nothing changes. Nothing changes. We'll make sure he hears this.
He used to wear pink shorts. I remember them, you know, there was more hanging out of them than was tucked into them. You know?
More information that we required there, but thank you for that. Thoughtful.
You know, but just, you know, but that was it, you know, Roy and Dougie as well, and you know, all those lovely characters. And then Stephen Geisley was just the loveliest guy. He really was, and it was so heartbreaking when I heard he had died in a car accident. You know, that just broke my heart. In
New York, and his lovely wife of that time, Louise, is a personal friend too. You'd be pleased, and in fact, I've just figured out a connection we can bring you back to when they were planning to have a quiz night and a disco night for Stephen's memory, 20 years on, maybe, about just as COVID was starting. I had to cancel it, as it were, but there are plans afoot to have another evening. And when that comes along, I'm going to reach back out to you for a signed copy of the history book that you've written, and that'll be an exciting prize. You're glad you spoke to me, aren't you?
No, I am. I truly am. And you know, the book that won the first award. So there's 7 books I've written, and the one that won the first big award was actually dedicated to Stephen Geisley.
So that's Roger McStravick. I'm looking forward to meeting him in person. He's coming over, I think, in August. So look forward to it. I said we should have a round of sandwiches.
Yes, if you were getting involved in that, let me come too. I'll be your caddy.
Yeah. Good
I'll
stuff.
bring your plate.
You can bring the tea.
Yeah.
Sally.
Let's see, what else can we talk about? We're going to talk about football. Glenavon back in the swing of things with pre-season friendlies. Last Saturday played Loughgall. Then Tuesday I was up in Bangor. Lovely day to go to Bangor.
Didn't we have a lovely day the day we went to Bangor?
Glenavon certainly did. They scored 7 goals. Full report on there for that. And then on Wednesday night they played Cumberrec and won 1-0. So Gary Hamilton splitting his squad to try and give as many players as possible 90 minutes. And with that in mind, on Saturday as in yesterday, Glenavon played Glenavon in a friendly. Split the squad up into 2.
Will it be friendly if it's Glenavon versus Glenavon? Should
it was, I'd like to think so. I hope, hopefully nobody has come out of that game injured. Put it like that. But I remember this happened last year. The 2 teams played each other, and Gary Hamilton made the point that it gave both teams a chance to get 90 minutes under their belt. Plus there was a wee bit of friendly rivalry as well. I think I seem to recall that the losing team had to basically pay a fine to the other team. So
oh dear.
yeah, there were bragging rights there, but you can see all the advantages to doing that, particularly whenever you can't give everybody 90 minutes in every game. So if you can give 2 teams a run out in one game, it works out to your benefit. Also, Conor Schnell, young winger who plays for the Largan Blues, he's been called up to the Northern Ireland Under 18 team, which is going to be playing at the Super Cup NI. We can hear a little bit from Conor here in a moment, but they will play Manchester United Under 18s as part of that. Now they're not part of the actual tournament, the Northern Under 18s, but they will.
What do you call it? The Super Cup? Is this what used to
be the Milk
Cup?
Cup? Yes, okay. Yeah, that's what that is. So, and of course, you're Lurgan. We're going to be up at it.
Wow.
Yeah, Johnny McNabb, our deputy head of digital content, my deputy, he's going to be up there because he will be following the Glenavon teams and the County Armagh teams as well, and keeping an eye on all the other local connections for us as well. So
here's Johnny. Eventually,
we'll keep that for next week because we'll probably get him on for a wee chat. Yeah, let's hear from Scott Connor, who's been talking about pre-season so far, and looking forward to those games against Manchester United.
Yeah, so meeting up with lads on Sunday night and play against United under 19s twice. Just preparation for the Super Cup. One down Coleraine, one in Ballymena. Just hoping to get a few more minutes in legs and benefit me for moving on the season ahead here as well.
Perfect, cheers.
Good for him.
Yeah,
good for him.
Good man, Johnny. Good to have you out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I suppose the other footballing story we've had this week, you were talking to, or you and Eugene were out talking to a well-known footballing figure.
John
O'Neill, the vice chairman, I believe, of Armagh City.
At present, but he's been with a number of clubs. He helped, obviously, Lurgan Celtic for a while, and a host of others. A really interesting man. He's a young man. He's only 74, 75.
Just no age.
Lots to say, very balanced, quite humorous man too. Did enjoy that. And we got to visit Goodyear Social Club. I know we visited Glenavon. I used to visit as a watcher, but I was actually in my playing field for a brief few seconds because I used to play five-a-side football. Still no plaque. I was really disappointed. No plaque up on the wall. Not yet.
There's probably no plaque from one time I was there for a birthday party either, so don't feel too left out.
But I've done much more birthday parties than you have. What I was pleased to see was one of the fellas helping out there, barman and retired bar owner for a long time, was Felix Mckeever. Felix from Portadown. Felix and Desi had a great pub, the Meeting House in Woodhouse Street. Is it Woodhouse Street they were? Lovely character. It was really good to see him. It took me 5 minutes to recognise that I knew him, but he recognised me straight away. But that's a by the by. So the Goodyear Club we got talking about, and of course the football too. We'll give you a little excerpt of that. What do you think are the strongest clubs in Mid-Ulster this year? You're playing against them. Here, particularly in the Lurgan Craigavon district, who should we be continuing to look out for?
Anna is one of them. Right. Loughgall will be another. Possibly Donnaghstown, because Stephen U. Pritchard has been around a few.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
actually was an Armagh manager for 7 years, and he's built a decent squad there. But like ourselves, they do tend to lose players to the clubs who will offer them a bit more pocket money, shall we say.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I think that those clubs there, Bambridge Town, Frankie's there, but
Yeah.
I don't know what the situation is with Frankie at the moment because he's ill.
And Oxford, they've tried Emily what Ballymacash did going up last year, going to have to try to push on as well.
Ballymacash have come in and they'll be a threat.
Be a threat
They will
as
be
well.
a threat as well.
What time of this, John, just before we finish off, New Mills have come up 3 or 4 divisions. They're now sharing now with Dungannon Swifts, the ground.
That's correct. That's
They're
correct.
doing really well.
Their reserves won a trophy down in our ground.
Yeah.
And the one, I think it was Hill Street Reserves that beat, and
Yeah.
they were deserving winners.
Yeah.
Surprised everybody. So there's always somebody coming along, always
Yeah.
a new kid in the block
Yeah.
type of thing, and they want to shoot down.
Yeah.
Like last year, we were the team everybody wanted to beat because we were at the top for quite a while.
Moving on to Eugene's other topic of favourite topic of choice, GAA. What have you been up to this week, man? Were you out with him the other day doing something?
No. I was out on my own. He wasn't able to go, so I deputised.
Oh, you were at the fun day, weren't you, on Monday?
It was a fun afternoon. It was on Thursday.
Every afternoon's a fun afternoon.
It was on Thursday, but they had
Thursday.
a week of kind of school masters, school teachers from the Gaelic football tradition, Armagh GAA footballers. 4 or 5 of them were out giving instruction to the good young folk of Clonagale and right around the area. They do this all across the county apparently. They're at St Joseph's and Crossmaglen and different parts. I don't think they've been anywhere else in Lurgan, but perhaps. And they do this during the summer. We had Rory Grogan. Rory was leading the pack. We had Ain Nugent, who was there too, Niall Grimley, who was injured during the campaign this year, and we had James Morgan from Crossmaglen, and the kids loved it. The kids loved it. I got a reflection of that coming up right now.
Give him a big round of applause. Woo! Well done, Nathan. Good man, Nathan. Brilliant, Nathan. Just stay up here, Nathan. Get a photo with you.
I'm Nathan and I won player of the tournament.
Player of the tournament. Show me your medal, as it were. That's pretty cool. Player of what tournament? What's been going on this week?
There was a Road to Croker tournament at the end of the camp and my team won the final.
Yeah, and did you score?
Yes, I scored.
What was your favourite part of the whole camp?
The Road to Croker at the final when I scored the winning point.
A few cracking games, so put it together, and there was a lot of candidates. The 2 we picked out as the standout performers. On the ladies' side, the winner was Riley Little. Everyone that come in, knock out. Well done. Well done, Riley.
Well done, Riley.
Super game.
Just show us your trophy here now. Now, I don't think you were actually on the winning side, were you?
I was on the winning side, yeah, we won by a few. I don't know the actual score.
So the senior being what, over 9, or what was the criteria?
I think it was over 9, yeah, 10 to 12.
So have you been playing football regularly?
Yeah, I've been playing since last year, joined the Conagale. Yeah.
What were the highlights for you of this whole event?
Definitely the roller coaster at the end, like playing spit in the teams. It was fun to go against your friends and all.
So a lot of fun being had by young and old there, because I was the old one and I was having fun watching it all. The Clegs have come back, by the way.
Yes, they have. Another point of order as well about this place. This is a lovely, lovely spot, and that play park over there is fantastic. 2 points of order I would like to make. Number one, as I was saying to you earlier on, my wee man loves this park, and we come here sometimes with him and my nephew. I don't know why other parents have had the same issue here, but mostly if you're sitting on one side of it, where the benches and all are over there, if they go to the far side of that, you just lose them because you can't see them over the top of the big wooden thing they have in the middle of it. I would like to see that chopped down a wee touch. Just saying. I'm all for it staying there. I just think I would like to, as a parent, I'd like to see where my child is.
Well, good for you. The council have spent a fortune on that.
I know. It's
great
just,
value.
It only needs
today.
a couple of inches off. That's all I'm asking for.
We might be able to take a picture from long distance,
Yeah.
but from the protection of children and
Right.
all sorts of stuff,
The
we're not
other
going to be videoing around it, that's for sure.
Yeah, the other thing I'd like to say as well is again, this is a lovely part of the world. Dog owners, please pick up your dog poop, because I've nearly stood in 2 or 3 different parts of it, not too far away from where we're stood right now. So please pick up your dog poop.
And that's a message for around the country.
Exactly.
I love dogs, but I wouldn't like to have to look after them. But if I did have one, I'd have to look after them. That's the social responsibility of it all. And it's relatively easy to do, isn't
Bring
it?
a bag. I mean, it's not that hard to do. I've done it. Scoop it. It's fine. It's no big deal.
Scoop the whatever you call it.
Scoop your poop.
Anyway,
sorry, I should also have said as well, congratulations to the Craigavon Lakers basketball team who won their recent pre-season friendly. The name of the team escapes me. They were playing, but they won it. Anyway, that's the main thing. And yeah, it was good to have their reports on Your Lurgan. If you have a sporting report that you would like to send to us, sport@yourlurgan.com. Would love to hear from you, particularly football clubs as the season approaches. So,
and we're looking forward to getting out to the Largan Bowling Club in Largan Park very shortly, sometime in the next week. Look forward to that. There's another opportunity, we were just discussing it too, and I've just set it up actually, to go out and see just how the Lady Rugby Club is getting on. Lurgan's Lady Rugby Club.
Yeah, funny, whenever you think of rugby, you think of people, I suppose, not just boys now. And these days, as is proven by the fact we're going to see a women's rugby team, but running around in mucky pitches. But I don't think there's any danger of that in this weather.
Not so much.
You're more chance of getting burnt. Getting covered in mud.
Skin burns, as it were. Look forward to that report coming up next week. Have we much more?
No. That's it. There's been no other news. I'm only joking. No, but I think that's enough this week. Go on to yourlurgan.com, see all the latest news. You'll find everything you need to know.
So that's us for this week then.
It is. Don't forget, you can get in contact with us. Email us info@yourlurgan.com, and keep an eye on your emails. If I see it, I will personally respond.
It's something you mentioned at the start about those who wish to, well, you didn't use the word advertise, but I can use it.
Advertise,
because that's
yes.
promoting businesses.
Yeah.
Fairly reasonable to do it, and fairly reasonable. I'm not going to ask you rates and all the rest. We'll leave that up to
I
others.
don't know.
But it's worth reaching out for. The figures are there to show we've got the audience.
Oh yeah.
And the opportunity is there for you.
We're the only dedicated news website for the Lurgan and Craigavon area. Yes, there are other news websites out there, but they either cover a bigger area or they've been amalgamated into others. We are the only dedicated website for the Lurgan and Craigavon area, bringing you news, sport, entertainment, and everything else.
And two good-looking guys like us. Well, one good-looking guy like you.
Thank you very much. I'll take that. Yeah, but they'll get in touch. Again, all the details are on our social media platforms about how you can get in contact with us.
And we'll put the number
we'll have to get
right
Joe
underneath now.
We'll have to get Robbie on. Robbie's our advertising manager. Robbie will be well known. Robbie Abraham will be well known around the Lurgan area.
Thankfully, you or me know what we're doing, and we've come to the end of another podcast. Thank you for your listening ear. Already got the mentions now from Michael as to how you get in touch. info@yourlurgan.com, or just post a little message at the bottom of this Facebook posting, as it were, to let us know how things are getting on with you. And lots of people commenting as ever along the week. Continue doing that.
We're also on, you mentioned Facebook, we're also on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. We're everywhere. Come and find us. We'd love to hear from you.
I'm Donagh McCone.
And I'm Michael Scott.
And that's another Your Lurgan podcast. Thanks for joining us.